Qatar's World Cup in 2022 has thrown the spotlight on the welfare of those who are building the venues for football's showpiece. Human Rights Watch said last week that progress has been made, but there's still a long way to go to protect workers from exploitation. In an interview with Al Jazeera's Lee Wellings, Qatar 2022 head of workers' welfare Mahmoud Qutub said that attitudes were changing and the new rules put in place by World Cup organisers are already building a legacy outside of Qatar.
The criticism we often hear is you're doing a good job, but you can do better, or you're not going fast enough. You know, in order for this to be sustainable, in order for it to be long-term and exist beyond 2022, it has to be done in a gradual way. You can't rush these things. Qatar is a small country, it's a new country. I mean, effectively, people often forget that we haven't had hundreds of years of trying to really combat this issue of human rights and so on. And so if you look at what has been achieved in the past 10 to 15 years, you can see there's a tremendous commitment, not just by our organization, but also the leadership of the country as well.
Have you experienced some resistance to what you're trying to do?
You're always going to have resistance. Change is not easy. And there's a cultural change that's happening in Qatar today, with our contractors, with the wider population, no doubt. We've had an amazing breakthrough in 2018. One of the more complex issues in human rights is the issue of recruitment fees. There's over 25 million people worldwide that have effectively been in debt bondage. They paid exorbitant amount of money just to find a better home for their families, better opportunities. And of course, Qatar is no exception. We've had this issue as well. We are thrilled, at the end of 2018, we were able to effectively convince over 120 of our contractors to reimburse a total of about $22 million to about 31,000 workers. And we're seeing the spillover effect. We've actually seen it for the past few years, in fact. Obviously, this particular breakthrough has received tremendous attention, both within Qatar as well as globally. In fact, we came to London yesterday to actually sit and present to a group of multinationals, as well as human rights activists and other stakeholders, on how we were able to achieve this breakthrough in recruitment fees.
Is the reality for a worker coming in to Qatar from a country like Nepal or Bangladesh in the year 2019, is a very different reality to them coming in 5 years ago or more than 5 years ago? And do you still feel that there's a lot more to do to make it the life that it needs to be for one of those workers?
The situation, Lee, is not perfect. The one thing that we, as the Supreme Committee, in relation to our workers, we can only guarantee that there will always be continuous improvement. Everything we have done to date is really to try to address the issues that we have seen, working with colleagues and partners such as BWI and Impact and others. But the situation is not perfect. It's certainly a lot better today than it was yesterday, and we'll continue to improve. That's the commitment that we have made and we continue to make. So for us, in terms of our standards, in terms of what we've been able to apply, we can certainly say yes, the situation for our workers is absolutely better today than it was yesterday.